Talk about a sad day in Big Ten football, or at least in Wisconsin football. Wisconsin gets absolutely crushed by Maryland, 27-10, and it wasn't even that close. It was more dominant than that. I know Wisconsin, I think, outgained Maryland in yards to end the day, but Maryland was in control. The minute they got up 10-0, 17-0, Wisconsin just wasn't going to have hope to come back. Or I think it was 14-0 at one point. Let me check. All I remember about this game, because I was just in such shock in watching it. Before we resume this segment, some great and free ways to support this channel are liking the video, watching it all the way through, commenting your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your analysis, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, and also hitting the notification bell. That way you can get notified when we go live or release new content. And don't just hit the notification bell for the channel. That's very helpful. But what's also helpful and free and useful to you, if you are a diehard fan of a specific team and want to get notifications whenever I make content about a specific team, not just my content in general, well, we have playlists for every Power 4 college football team, so the notification bell on any of those playlists you are interested in. If you want to support the channel financially, there are ways to do so in the description, and you can sign up as a paid member. Is that A, Maryland owned the line of scrimmage, they owned special teams, and Maryland wanted it for their coach who was on the hot seat in Mike Locksley. And it didn't feel like Wisconsin wanted it for their coach, who is on the hot seat, in Luke Fickell. Maryland covered the plus 10.5 line. This was a game I totally whiffed on. I thought that Wisconsin was going to come out and they were going to dominate with their defense, and their defensive front played very well. But they were going to dominate with defense, and that they would do enough offensively, whether in running the ball or dink and dunk through the air, to win like 27-10 in a very dominant game. Well, it was 27-10, but in the opposite way. Same with the dominance, too, in Maryland's direction. Maryland only had 57 plays, and Wisconsin actually controlled the clock. But Maryland made the big plays when it mattered. They got up 20-0 at the half. 20-0. And yes, it was 14-0 at one point, not 10-0. Wisconsin at the start of the game had a 70.4% chance at winning. They got down the field pretty early, but Maryland blocked the field goal. By the beginning of the first quarter, Maryland had a 63.5% chance to win. By halftime, they had a 92.7% chance to win. Just total, utter collapse by Wisconsin at home. You know what this game reminded me of? It reminded me of Wisconsin, Illinois in 2022, where Bielema came in and beat Wisconsin at their own game. Maryland didn't quite have that same dominant performance, and I don't think they're as good of a team as that Illinois team is. But they came in and they outrushed Wisconsin on a yards per carry basis. They had 6 sacks and 10 TFLs. Wisconsin had 1 sack and 4 TFLs. They outplayed Wisconsin at quarterback. Malik Washington once again had another win and looked good in doing so. They outcoached Wisconsin. They put forth better effort than Wisconsin. They won. They dominated. They controlled the Badgers. Maryland moves on to 4-0, and look, the more Mike Locksley wins, the more his job is secure, because you don't have to win 9 or 10 games at Maryland to have your job safe. If they go 7-5, his job is safe, and he could even have another bad year next year, and they'd keep him around. Maryland had 265 passing yards for 7.8 yards per attempt. They had 3.2 yards per carry on the ground with 71 rushing yards. Wisconsin just had 113 rushing yards for 3.1 yards per attempt on the ground. Maryland, they sacked, I can't even process it. They sacked Wisconsin 6 times and at a 100% power rushing success rate. That's just, it's crazy. That's insane. And they weren't even that good on third down. They were just 4 of 14. But Washington made enough plays with his receivers, and Maryland's defense and special teams unit made enough plays to get up big and sit on the lead. By the way, shout out to Mike Locksley. I forget if it were shades or if it were just these certain type of glasses. He looked like an absolute gangster and boss in those glasses and that outfit. It's very similar to, I don't think Locksley's as good of a coach as Signetti is, but it was very similar to Signetti, as in they have the glasses on. They're just sitting there, like, very serious, very composed, they're not necessarily happy with their team, even though they're dominating. And somewhere in the back of their head, they're probably thinking, yeah, we're murdering these guys and it's not good enough. It's just shout out to him because I was wrong big time. And it's a huge win for Maryland and Mike Locksley because game is going to give Malik Washington confidence with Maryland's schedule because, look, Wisconsin's awful. They might be the worst team in Maryland's Big Ten schedule. But you have games against UCLA. You host Washington and Nebraska. I don't think you'll beat Indiana or Michigan, but you get Michigan before Ohio State, so maybe you upset them. There's a lot of winnable games on the schedule, especially if Maryland is able to win close games. There's a lot of winnable games on the schedule. And I thought it was an easy schedule entering the year. I just didn't think Maryland would be able to take advantage of it. But now that you're 4-0 and you won this game in the way you did, and your receivers have panned out yet again, QB has panned out, QB's improved, I would say, from last year. I mean, in terms of talent it has, I don't know if overall it has. Edwards just hasn't been healthy for Wisconsin. That's why they didn't roll him out there until later in the game, is he wasn't healthy. So, wait. Hold on. Am I wrong? I missed the first part of this game and rewatched parts of it, but I was really watching from late first quarter onward. Did Edwards come in and then get injured again? This is live research, people. Let me look this up and see if that's the case. Did he get hurt? Did he get hurt? Answer me in the comment section below. Yeah, he started the game. So he must have gotten hurt again. He must have. Oh, yeah. Yup, he got hurt. Darn it. I can't believe I missed that. So that's my fault for missing that, but at the same time he didn't play for much of the game, and I was helping out my family with something important for the first few minutes. But I mean, maybe if they have Edwards it changes the outcome, but I'm not going to play that. Edwards has been hurt. Wisconsin has managed their roster poorly. They didn't have an offensive line. Maryland just owned Wisconsin here. And look, it's a big win for Locksley. My question is, can Maryland finish with a winning record? I think they can, but let's see if they will, because this Wisconsin team was awful. Maryland, they didn't even look good. It's just Wisconsin looked bad, and Maryland clearly had a better idea of what their identity and what their team was. So credit to Maryland's staff, but it's not like that roster is amazing or that staff is elite. I think the scheme said more about Wisconsin. Here, I mean, Maryland averaged negative 0.09 expected points added per play. Wisconsin just averaged negative 0.22. Both teams were actually successful in the red zone. Maryland's defense is what was impressive to me with a 16% havoc rate. The defense has actually been, I would argue, the better side of the football so far for Maryland this season. My question for Maryland outside of can they have a winning record is, what is their defense? I mean, analytically, it's great, but is it actually great, or have they just faced really bad offenses so far that they match up well with? Malik Washington's talented. I mean, he made some NFL throws, like that one throw to the end zone to go up 14-0. That was beautiful. Just perfect touch, perfect angle, placement, 253 total yards and a 61.1 QBR. He's a star in the making. Wisconsin, though, doesn't have an identity. Whiskey's secondary is gettable. We saw this against Alabama. We saw it again yesterday. And I haven't gone off on Fickell in the same way I have Napier, because I think Fickell's a much better coach than Napier. But I'm going to go off here and say that Luke Fickell's done. You got to fire him. If you don't fire Luke Fickell after this game, you're not a serious program. This was a must-win for Wisconsin. It's year 3. I don't think Maryland's a good football team. And even if they are, every team remaining on your schedule is better than Maryland. You had to beat them, and you couldn't. Your backup quarterback sucks. Your backup offensive line sucks. Your secondary needed a player to get extra eligibility to be good, even though they returned a lot of guys, and they're questionable. The defense, the front's much better than it was last year. The defense is better than it was last year, but the offense is so much worse. Somehow, some way, even though last year's offense had an all-time low of production at times. You got to fire Fickell. It's over. And it sucks because I think he's a good coach, and I think he'll be a good head coach somewhere else. But this just isn't working out. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Instead, I think I was not just wrong on this game. I was wrong on the idea that Fickell would work out at Wisconsin. It's a sad day in Madison, Wisconsin, and I don't know where the Badgers go from here. I would effectively say their season at this point is over, and Maryland's has just begun. Thank you so much for watching this segment on College Football with Sam. Before we close out here, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video around, comment your thoughts and analysis down below so I can read them and reply to them if I have the time. Members get priority replies, but I try to reply to everyone. And also hit the notification bell for the channel and also for any team playlists you are interested in. If you want to support the channel financially, you can always super chat me in the comment section, but I prefer that you sign up as a paid member of the Patreon page or as a YouTube member, or that you can purchase some wonderful merchandise to represent us. I'll see you all soon and have a fantastic day.